there, guys. It's Nick, the ASMR nerd. And today I'm going to be replacing the keycaps on this keyboard. You might recognize this keyboard from my DIY mechanical keyboard videos. This is the GK61 with the aluminum case and white PBT pudding caps. Underneath, as you'll see in a moment, are Kale Box heavy pale blue switches, which are very clicky switches, very clicky. And if you're interested in any of these parts, by the way, I will put links down below where you can check them out on banggood.com. And if you like, you can even purchase through those links, and doing so supports the channel, which I, of course, very much appreciate. But really, the star of today's show is not what you see in front of you. It's what I'm going to be putting on this board. These white PBT pudding caps are very nice. They feel nice. They look good. But the other day I was browsing on AliExpress, which is kind of like Chinese Amazon. If you've never been there, they have all kinds of stuff from all kinds of sellers. And I happened to find these right here. This is a metal keycap in a little baggie. I know there's only one here, but I've got a whole set of them. This is the escape key. I'll pull it out here to show you very quickly. So this is made of I think a zinc aluminum alloy, I believe, is what the listing claimed. And then it's got, I guess, like a laser etched legend. I'm not even sure. Anyway, it's a full set except for a space bar. I won't be swapping out the space bar today. I'm gonna have to find something to do for that. I'm thinking maybe a nice artisan cap. But these are, as you can see, very shiny, highly impractical, really, because they're just going to get covered in fingerprints, but they've got a high gloss sheen to them. They look decently thick, they look reasonably well made, and I've never typed on metal keycaps before, so I thought, what the heck, let's try it out. They were not particularly cheap. They were about 240 Canadian dollars by the time I paid for, shipping and tax and all that stuff. But anyway, I will link them down below in the video description in case you are interested in checking them out for yourself. But I just couldn't pass it up. The idea of a full set of metal keycaps just struck me as kind of awesome and sort of fun. And I'm really curious what they're going to feel like to type on. But before we can put those on, we have to take the current ones off. So that's going to be part one. If you don't care about that part, you don't want to watch it, that's fine. I will timestamp in the video description and at the top of the comments in a pinned comment. I'll timestamp when I start putting on the new caps, if that's what you're more interested in. But I'm probably not going to talk too much during this video. I'm just going to do my thing, take these off, put the new ones on. I always find this just kind of therapeutic, honestly, just very relaxing. We're going to take our time. It's going to be real chill. So, let's get to it. You can hear how clicky they are. Also, these caps have O-rings on them. I put these on during that keyboard building video. And so I'm going to take those O-rings off and reuse them on these metal caps. Because I think without O-rings, they're going to be very, very sharp. The bottom out feel is going to be too sharp because the metal obviously has no softness to it, whereas plastics, you know, they have a bit of softness. So, you know, it doesn't reverberate so harshly, but I think the metal keycaps are going to reverberate quite harshly without using the O-rings. So we're going to put those aside, just over here for now. Make a little pile of them. So this is going to take a while. I've got to take each cap off, take the O-rings off, and then put the O-rings on the new caps and put the new caps on. To take these O-rings off, I'm just simply using, I think this is a crochet hook. I could be wrong. It's Sarah's. I'm pretty sure it's a crochet hook. But it's perfect for this. She doesn't know I'm using it, but I don't think she'd care. I just found it over on her crafting table. These are 4, I guess they are. These are 4 caps. The taller ones, the higher profile ones. I needed to put 3 O-rings on each of them to get them to work properly. And I suspect I'll have to do the same with the new caps. Runaway O-rings. The O-rings as well. The O-rings as well are available from Banggood. If you want to get them, they're really cheap. They're like $3, I think, for for 150 of them. Honestly, I should just order some more so that I don't have to take them off like this, reuse them. And if you're not familiar with O-rings, I'll show you one here up close just so you can see. But they're literally just little rubber rings. Nothing fancy to them at all. Be nice if it would focus though. There we go. And they just help cushion the impact of your keystrokes so that you're not bottoming out on hard metal, but rather on a rubber O-ring. And some people like the typing feel that way. It's just a little more springy, a little less clacky. There's a bit more bounce back to the keys if you're, pushing them down kind of hard. And that's sort of nice. So on this row, they are shorter caps, not as tall, slightly lower profile, which is just the standard way OEM works. OEM profile caps, the rows are sculpted, as they say, so they kind of increase in height towards the back. It's supposed to be more ergonomic. But because they're shorter caps, they only have 2 O-rings apiece, just 2, as opposed to 3. Sound that the pudding caps make. Now I'm questioning whether I took the O-rings off the R. I didn't. Look at that. I knew I forgot something. These may not be crochet hooks. They may be for tatting or something like that. I'm not sure. After I get all these caps off and get the new ones on, I'll do a little typing test, because I bet a lot of people want to hear what the metal caps sound like. And I know I didn't type on these ones, but do want to hear that, you can go watch the video where I put this keyboard together in the first place. I'll link it, just like everything else here, down in the video description. Runaway O-ring. I got it though. In the video description and at the top of the comments. At the top of the comments. I put it in both places because crap. Close. Almost lost those ones. I don't know why they suddenly want to escape on me. I put links in a pinned comment at the top of the comments for people on mobile, because I seem to recall that links in the video description don't work properly on mobile. Maybe I'm making that up, but in my memory that was the case. That was the case. Oops. That's the wrong pile. O-rings go there. Keycaps go there. Like I said, I find this very zen. It's just chill. It's kind of therapeutic. Just focusing on one simple task. And when it's all done, it's very satisfying. Because you have a lovely keyboard. I'm really, really keen to see how these metal caps look. I know it's super extra. I don't think they intend for people to buy a full set of metal caps, because they actually they sell them in kits. Like if you want to get a kit for just the modifiers or just the alphas or just the numbers, or whatever, but miss me with that. We're going whole hog. We're doing the whole board. Except for that space bar. Like I said, they don't sell a space bar. But that's just all the more reason for me to get a really nice artisan space bar. Maybe from like Jelly Key or something. Maybe I'll get one of those Zen Ponds. Have you ever seen those? Look up Jelly Key Zen Pond. I think they're called Zen Pond. They're really lovely. Or if you have suggestions for any kind of artisan space bar that you think would look nice with a set of metal keycaps, feel free to leave a comment. I'd like to hear what you have to say. I am open to suggestions. Fingers are getting a little bit greasy because these stabilizers are lubricated, and a little bit got on the keycaps, the stems or the sockets or whatever. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just a very little bit. Just a very little bit. But it's enough that I can feel it on my fingertips just slightly. Keep wanting to roll away like little tires. It's because I've stacked them, like I said, 2 or 3 tall, and they seem to be kind of wanting to stick together like that in pairs, so quite rolly. Maybe if I spread out my pile just a little bit, they won't roll away so easy. almost there, you guys. On the last row. Of the removal. Then we have to put on the new ones. Oops. Every once in a while my brain malfunctions for a moment. And I go to put the O-rings in the keycap pile and vice versa. Yes, indeed, I'll need to find an appropriate space bar to match the all-metal aesthetic. Yeah, I really don't know why this company doesn't manufacture a metal space bar as well. It would make sense. They also don't do a numpad. Just keys for a 10 keyless, basically. Minus the space bar. And there we have it. You know what, let's take that off as well. Put that aside for a moment because we will be reusing it. Now I've brought a little brush. This came with one of the keyboards I reviewed. I think it might have been, it wasn't one of the Royal Kludges. It was, you know, I don't remember now. But it's handy for just cleaning. And there's a little bit of dirt and dust and things on the top plate here, so we'll just brush it away. Since we have the caps off. Now this is a hot swap board, so these switches are not soldered in. We could pull them out if we wanted, switch them out for something else. But I like them. I like the Kale Box Heavy Pale Blues, so we're gonna keep them on. The heavy part of the switch refers to the fact that they take a bit more actuation force than your average switch to press them down, to actuate. I think they come in around 70 grams. I could be wrong, but I think 65 to 70, which is actually good in this case because the metal caps are going to actually, have a weight of their own that's more substantial than a plastic cap. And so that weight is already sort of preloading the switches in a way, right? So you kind of have to subtract the weight of the cap away from the actuation force of the switch if you want to know the new actual actuation force, if that makes sense. It's probably not much, it's probably only a few grams, but I think using switches with heavier springs like this will make for a more pleasant typing experience. You would want to use something, very light, like a lubed red switch, because I think then it would just be too light once you add in the weight of the metal keycaps. guess now is time to start putting them on. This is going to be maybe a bit louder. It's going to be very crinkly because every single cap is contained within a little plastic baggie like this, every single one. So, if you like crinkling bags, today is your lucky day. If you dislike plastic waste, today is not your lucky day. Just contributing to the microplastic problem. Okay, let's put on these here. O-rings. There's one. I almost feel like we need 4 O-rings, maybe, for that top row. In which case, I may not have enough O-rings. I've got some extras somewhere, but I can't remember how many. There, you can hear it. It's bottoming out soft with 4. But I don't think it was with only the 3. Oh, I should put the other caps away first, shouldn't I? Let's do that. I'm just putting them into yet another plastic bag here. These caps are quite lovely, especially on an RGB equipped board. And they're not very expensive. They're usually about $20 to $25, I think, for a full set. Which is about 10 times less than the metal caps. And in all practical terms, they probably last you just as well. But you can't flex on your friends with, regular old plastic keycaps. No, for that, you need metal. So these are the number keys. The O-rings. I'm going to try 3 again just to see, but I really don't think it did it. Now you can hear it bottoms out hard, listen. Now compare that to this. takes 4 whole O-rings. Come out. I'm going to hang on to these little baggies, reuse them for something. There's our one. Oh, of course. Missing a ring on the 2. These are gonna be such a nightmare to keep clean. It's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna need to keep a polishing cloth right next to my keyboard at all times. These are such impractical keycaps, but I love it. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. I may never actually use these day to day. They might just sit on a shelf and look nice, but oh, come on. I think I'll try and use them for at least a little bit, though. Oh, this is actually the tilde, which doesn't get used on a 60% board. So that can go back in its baggie. Six. A while back, Linus of Linus Tech Tips built an all-metal keyboard, and they used a machined brass keycaps that cost almost $50 a piece for each keycap, and a case that cost about $500 US. This is a much humbler all-metal board. Not cheap, but not quite so crazy. I think their entire keyboard for the all-metal keyboard cost them in the neighborhood of $2,000 to $3,000. This one, all total, the PCB plus case plus back plate, top plate, and stabilizers. That kit, I believe, runs I think about $80 on Banggood. And then the switches are another, oh, come on. How much? I don't know. 40 or 50 or something, I think, for the switches on this board. I could be wrong. I'd have to double check. You can check the links. But, and then the caps, of course, $250 Canadian, so I don't know, $175 American or so. So what is that? If I do my math, I don't know, about 300 maybe, something like that, for the whole board. Which, you know, that's a lot. It's a lot to spend on a mechanical keyboard, but I bet you'll be the only one of your friends with an all-metal mechanical keyboard. The finish on these is pretty nice. There's a few little blemishes here and there, but for the most part it's pretty good. It's a very, very mirror finish. Interestingly, the escape key felt a bit more matte than these number keys do. Oops, got a little bit stuck. These have a slightly more mirrored finish. The escape key, I actually didn't order. They sent that as a bonus, I think. Because I wanted to order one, but they didn't seem to have it on their store. It wasn't sold with any of the kits. But yeah, then when they showed up, there it was. So it's a nice little extra. Otherwise I would have been stuck looking for an artisan escape cap as well. Very good. I'm just tossing all the little baggies over there. I'll put them back in the bigger one that they came out of. Once they're all done. There's the knife. And 0. good start. Okay, let's put these baggies back. Now, of course, these aren't shine-through caps, which is a little bit of a drawback, a little bit of a bummer. It means you won't get the RGB shine-through effect, but I think that's a sacrifice we can make. So here is a kit with a nav cluster, like print screen, pause, scroll lock delete, end home, page up, page down. We don't use that on a 60% board. Ooh, this one's heavy. This must be the alphas. It sure is. Alphas plus arrows. Let's get to it. That's an arrow key. Don't need that one. And another. The T. Okay, that we can do. T is going to go right there. Oh, can't forget. Now let's see. Let's hope we can get away with two O-rings here. Let's see. Yes, happily we can. The finish on this cap feels a little bit different yet again. Actually, it's more like the Escape, whereas the numbers are a little bit more mirror. That's too bad. I would have hoped for a bit more consistency. It's kind of hard to show, but they just seem a little bit less shiny. And the number keys. Sometimes getting these little buggers on is a bit tricky. Tricky. I think that's the right spot. What's going on? What have I done? I think one of the O-rings slipped. No, it's just a tight fit on that switch. funny. That one's bottoming out a little hard. Hear that? That's weird because they both have 2 O-rings. And they're both in the same row. I'm not sure what causes that. I don't necessarily want to put 3 O-rings on this guy though. So I think we're just going to leave it like that. I may have to put 3 O-rings on the entire row if that's gonna be the case, but I don't think I have enough O-rings for that right now. Nope, that was an arrow key. Drat. Don't need that one. That was very loud. If I give it enough force, it bottoms out a bit hard. But if you use a more modest amount, it's okay. It's interesting. Oh, come on, you. This bag is proving very difficult. I think I will have to get some more O-rings and put 3 on all these caps. I know I don't have enough for that right now, so we're just gonna have to do 2 for now. But we will I'll add the extra O-rings in my own time. On my own time. Because this video is already going to be real freaking long. can't afford to lose them. We don't have enough as it is. I'll have to go search for that in a moment. I think I might have put that in the wrong spot. No pun intended. Oh, I think I might have put that in the wrong spot. I think, right? It goes backslash bracket bracket P. Oh, yes. Goes there. Plastic bag pile is starting to encroach on our little stack of O-rings. Make some space. I did it again. I should really look at what the key is before I take it out of the bag, because that was the fourth and final arrow key. Of course, that said, I think the rest of the caps in this bag should all be alphas. Then the numbers definitely do look distinctly different. They're just a bit more mirrored. Slightly different finish. I don't think it looks bad per se, but it'll be interesting to see what the modifiers look like. Whether they'll be closer to the alphas or closer to the numerics. I haven't forgotten about the lost O-ring. I'll go retrieve it in a moment. But at some point shortly, I'm going to have to go get my remaining O-rings, which I'm not quite sure where they are. I'll have to look. Have to search. So, good news, bad news time. I found our runaway O-ring. Had to go searching, but the bad news is I could not find my spare O-rings. I don't know where they are. So we might be a few O-rings short here today. I'm sure I will find them eventually, but not for this here video. Although, as I said, I think I'm going to order some more anyway, because they're cheap, and I'd like to be able to stack these up a little bit more. Funny that they're inconsistent. Like maybe they just don't have quite the same thickness or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. But might also have to do with the machining on the bottom. There's little mold marks. I don't know if you can see them. Little round mold marks of some kind. Maybe those are responsible for adding a bit more or less depth or thickness to the cap. And so maybe on some caps those confer sufficient thickness to allow 2 O-rings to do the job. Whereas others, they don't. I think we'll have enough O-rings for all our alphas, but our modifiers we might have to go without. I'm also thinking, because this video is getting so very long, that we're going to have a very quick little typing test at the end, but it's not going to be lengthy. Caps are pretty tight fit on these stems. I hope they don't damage the stems. Oops. This one has a little bit of a something here. The finish. It's interesting. Yeah, these kind of feel like they're finished with something that's like these are raw metal, but maybe these have some kind of coating on them. I don't know. This is kind of a grand adventure, honestly. I did not know what to expect with these keycaps. And I thought, you know what the heck, let's just do it. Because they'll probably be fun to type on. They'll probably make for a fun video. I mean, maybe fun. This isn't some people's idea of fun, but I'm having fun. I was gonna say I hope you are too, but really well, if you're having fun, that's great. If you're asleep, that's great too. Either or is a win for me. I bet you very few people watch to this part of the video. Well, maybe if you skipped here just to start at the beginning of the keycap adding instead of the removing, then maybe you're still awake. Shout out to everybody who's watching this part of the video. Drop a comment if you're watching this part of the video. Let me know you were here. If you wanna. You don't have to, I guess. And the last one. They feel really nice under the fingers, I'm not gonna lie. They feel really good. So absurd. Totally absurd. Just put all these baggies plus the arrow keys back. Keep going. Okay, we don't have very many O-rings left, so I think we're just gonna not put any on the modifiers for now. We'll do that later. Here's the modifiers. And here are the F keys. We're not putting F keys on because this is a 60% board. But I wanted to get them for the sake of being able to cover a 10 keyless board if I wanted. Oh, and the modifiers are that high gloss, high sheen mirror kind of finish. They're slightly different colors too, right? I'm sure you can see that. That's cool, actually. That works then. That totally works. There's the enter. Oh, come on. Doesn't want to open. Open sesame. Very shiny. Quite nice. Gonna pick up fingerprints like crazy. That's a very hard bottom out. That's why I want to get more O-rings. Same with that one. Move those aside. Not gonna lie, this video's gone much longer than I expected. I thought this was gonna be pretty quick. But here we are. Big chunky backspace. The stabilized ones aren't as bad. They don't need the O-rings quite so much because they've got some absorption sort of dampening from the plastic there. The plastic stabilizers, I mean. Oh, that's too bad. The the right shift has a little notch out of it there. That's too bad. It's not very noticeable, but it is there. I love the fingerprints already gathering. Now, if I recall, this is a board that has a function key over here, the bottom right corner. Now, we don't actually have a function key per se, but this is sort of the closest thing that we get. Or a function cap, I should say. And last but not least, the tab. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's put, just gonna put these bags away. And then I'll show it to you from a different angle, or a couple angles, so you can see how ridiculous it looks. Oops, one bag down. And then we'll do a quick typing test. I will put on the old space bar so that we have a space bar. So it looks very out of place, doesn't it? That was quite loud. Okay. Well, there it is. With the exception of the space bar, we have an all-metal keyboard. Now, there is some variation in these caps. There is some variation. I'll pick it up so you can really appreciate. The modifiers and the numbers have that high sheen finish, and the alphas have a more matte look and a slightly different color. It's not bad, but it's not quite what I was expecting, I have to say. That said, look at this thing. This thing is heavy as heck, by the way. Because, of course, this is all a big solid chunk of aluminum. And then all those metal caps. Okay. So, I'd love to hear from you guys. What you think of this? It was a pretty ridiculous expenditure, honestly, but it's kind of fun. I kind of like it. I'd love to know what kind of space bar you think I should get to pair with this, given that I've been unable to find any metallic space bars. Maybe you can find one. Link it for me, but so backlight's on. It might look a little flickery to you. That's just a result of the the frequency of the LEDs and the shutter speed and that whole bit. It doesn't look like that IRL. Okay, let's open up a notepad here. And let's take it for a real quick typing test here. If you want to hear more of this, do let me know. I can make another video that's longer typing on this board. But anyway, let's just really solid. It's amazingly solid, as one would expect. The keys are very smooth. Very smooth. There's basically no texture to them, like you would have on, plastic caps. And so your fingers just kind of slide all over everything. It's pretty loud too, but that's largely to do with the switches on here. Alright guys, I think we better call that a video because this is getting pretty darn long. Thank you for joining me on this absurd adventure. I would really like to get a proper space bar that does this ridiculous keyboard justice. You could murder someone with this. This is so heavy. So please leave a comment down below. Let me know if you are aware of any nice artisan keycap space bars that would go well with this look, or even if you're aware of any metallic space bars. I haven't been able to find any, but maybe you know of them. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know what you think of this whole ridiculous endeavor. Yeah, not for everyone. I don't think these keycaps are going to be for everyone, but it makes for a pretty fun and incredibly solid feeling board to type on. I'm looking forward to getting those other O-rings on as well when I get them, and of course that space bar. Alright, thank you again for watching. I hope you found this kind of fun, hopefully relaxing, and I look very forward to having you back here next time. Bye for now, guys.